Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be talking about book recommendations for beginners. So beginner books on witchcraft, on Wicca, paganism, that sort of area, and basically books that you can start off with. So if you're looking for books because you've just found out about witchcraft and Wicca and you're looking for books to read, or if you found channels on YouTube and now you want to read books, basically just books for beginners is what this video is going to be about. So without further ado, I'm going to get into this video. Hey guys, so the first book that I want to talk about in my book recommendations is this one. So this is The Witch's Companion by Soraya, and this one is the first book that I've ever read on witchcraft. This was the first ever one that I picked up that actually spoke about witchcraft, and I got it from The Works many years ago. I think I was on a a college trip when I was doing archaeology. And I was with a friend from my class, and this is the book that we both picked up. We both picked up a copy of this each because we were both interested in witchcraft, and this is the one that I've used for quite a few years. When I first started on my path, I referred to it a lot. As you can see, I've got lots of sticky tabs in here from where I've marked things that I've come back to and used throughout the years, really. I don't really look at this one very much anymore because I've got quite a lot of other books that I look at more now, and I kind of know what's in here now, so I have less need to kind of come back to it. But as a beginner book, this just kind of covers all bases, I would say, with it. I mean, it goes through so much. It goes through all the different meanings of what a witch is, pagan, it means what Wicca is, your different types of witchcraft, like your different disciplines, like what covens are, what a kitchen witch is, green witches, hedge witches, Dianic witches, Gardnerian Wicca, Alexandrian Wicca, Druids, Eclectic witches. So it does break that down in the very first part of the book, which is really handy. And then it also talks about, obviously, the cycles of the moon, the 12 different moons, the zodiac, the different planets. It's got the Wiccan reading here. It's got information on casting a circle. It's got different initiations, so initiations for if you're a solitary or if you're a coven. It's got full moon esbats in here and a solitary esbat. It's got a hand fasting ceremony in here, a naming ceremony. It's got all the different information on their sabbats. It's got lots of different ways on how to create magical energy. It's got visualization work, spells in here, your tools, different resins, like incense, and how to work with those. It's got different magical powder blends. It's just got all sorts in here. It just goes through all sorts. It's got meditation, ritual verses. It's got like pretty much everything in here that you're gonna need as a beginner witch to basically understand everything. It goes through everything and is a really good starting point just to get you to understand everything in a really simple way. It's not too heavy or too it's not too much information to take in at once, so this one's a really good one as a beginner one. I would recommend that one a lot. That one. This one is another one that I'd recommend. This is The Witch's Journal by Celine Silverwind, this one. And this one, it's not like as detailed, it's not massively detailed, but the thing that I like about this one is it's just a really pretty book in general, but it's a nice one to give you ideas, I would say, for like your Book of Shadows, because it's kind of like a notebook style design, really, and with different things stuck in. So I think I got this one kind of because it kind of was inspiring me of different styles and ways I wanted to design my Book of Shadows. So like here, with the herbs sort of taped in, I quite like that idea. And it's a really nice book in general, and it goes through some nice information. So as a beginner book, it's really nice just is a nice visual book really, because it's not really text heavy or anything. It just looks really pretty and pleasing to the eye really. So I just think this one's a really pretty one to have. So that's why I would recommend that, and especially if you're looking for inspiration for how to do your journal or book shadows, this one is quite good for inspiration. Some other books that I would recommend, the ones that I first started reading. This one is one of the first ones I ever picked up on witchcraft. I can't even remember where I got this from, it's that old. It's obviously an old book, as you can tell by the pictures on the front of it. It's probably one of the first ones that really came out to do with witchcraft. Yeah, I think it was published in 2000. Yeah, 2000, which is a while ago now. But it does cover like everything to do with witchcraft. It talks about the history of it, like where it's come from, in terms of Wicca, and then the beliefs. The thing, yeah, I mean, it says like witchcraft, but then it's like all Wicca really. But to start off with, it's a very good one just to give you all the information about like what you can identify as, and just the very first stepping stone obviously. I mean, it goes through the elements as well. The elements is one of the first things that it talks about, and then the fifth element as well. So that's really good. And then how to set up your sacred space, set up your temple, solitary witches. It talks about covens, initiations. So it is more sort of Wicca orientated to a degree, but it's still relevant if you're just wanting to learn about witchcraft as well, I would say. It talks about the different Sabbats there and the traditions. Ritual preparation, raising energy. It explains a lot really. It's quite easy to take in everything in this book. And it just shows you a lot, and like I said, there is a lot of pictures in here, so you can kind of see what's going on in each thing and what to expect really. It even talks about your initiation rituals and what would classically, like typically go on in a coven based environment with that, which is quite useful, because obviously when you first start out in this path, it's quite hard to find out what goes on in a coven. So it gives you that sort of insight in that way. So I think this one's quite a good one. It depends whether you'd be able to find this one, but if you do find it, possibly maybe in like a charity shop or something, it's maybe worth having a look at. This one. Another one that everyone recommends is this one, which is by Scott Cunningham. This one's just a really great, easy to understand book. The style that it's written in, it's really easy to take in. It's just like having a conversation with somebody. It's just really broken down and really easy to take in. Even if you're not specifically looking at Wicca, you can still get quite a lot from this book. And I think Wicca is quite a good starting point. Even if you don't define yourself as Wiccan, reading a lot of Wiccan books, it's a very complete, like a well-rounded book. Usually it kind of covers from start to sort of complete, not finish and completion, but it takes you on your journey, and then you can then you can then go off on your journey yourself really with a lot of Wiccan books. I think they're quite good for that sort of thing. I'm hoping I'm making sense. I'm really sorry if I'm not. Another book that I would recommend is by Mandy C. This one's really nice. This one's, sorry, my throat's going really bad for some reason. Oh my god. Right. So this one's by Mandy C. This one, and this one's Eclectic Wicca. So this one it doesn't say like specific ways to follow something, or a specific way of doing things. It's very much a more personal approach to you. It's a really nice style, and it's a really pretty book as well. Like, it's got a really nice sort of artwork and pictures in there as well, and the layout's really nice as well. But it's really easy to take in. It's not a difficult read at all. It's like she's having a conversation with you in this one as well. Like, it's so easy to understand and take in, and I really like it. I would say it's a lot different to other ones that you'd read. Like, it really takes you through the bare, like, the basis of it. Like, it's not all about, right, like, at the end of this book you're going to be ready to cast spells or anything. She doesn't actually have spells in here, I don't think. Whereas other ones, sometimes, like, they'll have rituals and spells at the end, and it's like, yeah, you've just read this one book on witchcraft and now you can go and do spells. You don't need any other book. Whereas this one, it's very much giving you the start off, the base of it, and then you can go off whichever way you want to go, and it's a lot more sort of personalised to you, is this one. So I would highly recommend this one. This one is a really good one as well. This one I would say is a little bit more of a complete one. It's a handbook, the Wicca Handbook, and I would say it is like a handbook. This one's by Eileen Holland, this one. And the very beginning of the book, it's very, like, beginner style, like the basics of witchcraft and Wicca. But then as you get through it, it's something that you can work with and practice with a lot more. So she goes into different areas that you would do magic within, but she also talks more about the consequences of it as well. So it's not just like, right, you've read the first part of this book, now you can do all this. She does say, you know, what to expect, and to go careful with magic, and that you can't just cast spells for whatever you want and expect it to just come the way you think it is. There is other things that don't work, so you do need to be very specific and be careful what you are wishing for, what you are casting a spell for, which is really good, and I quite like that she does do that. She's not just giving you random spells and just being like, well, go off and do what you want with them, I don't really care. She does warn you and say, if you are going to do this spell, then just be prepared, because you need to be sure of what you want in, really, which is quite good, especially in a book for beginners. I would say it's important to be aware of what you're doing and not do anything too rushed or anything. Like, I didn't do spell work for quite a few years when I first started in the craft and on this path. I was like, no, I don't want to do spells, I'm not ready for that, and I just did very basic sort of prayers, spells, sort of things. They weren't really elaborate or anything like that, and it took me at least 2 years, I would say, before I actually started really doing any sort of magic-y spell sort of things like that, to bring things to me. I was very kind of wary about it. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing exactly, so I don't want to do anything wrong. So yeah, you don't have to just jump straight into working with spells and magic as soon as you find the path. Like, this is completely at your pace, so if you're not comfortable or you don't feel like you know enough, then just don't do it. Simple as. But this one is a really good book. This one just to guide you through everything, and just, it's something that I think you can refer back to, and it's something that you can work with in your path for longer, because this is one that I've picked up and like more recently, and I definitely think I'm going to be coming back to this one again, because it's just got quite a lot of information in here. So that's one that I would recommend a lot. Another one, this one's slightly stepping away from like the beginner book sort of style of things, but it's one that I would recommend for anyone really, but also beginners, is The Magical Year by Dawn New Forest. So I think this lady is a druid, yeah. So this one is all about the Sabbats and the Wheel of the Year and the seasons and traditions and things. So this one's really good. if you are wanting to connect with the different Sabbats and things like that, because she goes through all different traditions and basically what it's all about and why you would want to celebrate it and different ways that you can celebrate it. So if you're in a coven, if you've got groups of friends, or if you're on your own, there's something in here that you can always do for the different Sabbats, which is really good. And I think as a beginner, this is something that you can do straight away. You can start honouring the seasons and honouring the Sabbats, the Wheel of the Year, straight away. Like, you don't have to do a big elaborate ritual, but just being aware of the seasons and what's going on in nature around you and connecting to that really helps you develop and grow on your path. So I would definitely recommend this one. This is an area that I wish I'd have done a little bit more work with when I first started the path. It wasn't something that I thought was like as important, because I was like, well, I can't do a ritual, so I can't really celebrate the Sabbats. It's not about that, and this book kind of goes through that. So I just think that this one's a really good one for beginners as well. If you're going to get a book that you want to learn and develop on your path with, this one's a really nice one. And then these ones are a little bit more in depth. They're a little bit longer, more textbooky style. I would say this one is one that I used a lot, and I really love this one. It's one of my favourites, and I completely forgot that I actually had this one, but this is The Complete Idiot's Guide to Wicca and Witchcraft, and it's amazing. I've never really read any of the Idiot's Guides or the Dummies books ever before. I think I got this from the works, but it goes through all sorts. Like, you could go through this as if it was like a textbook, like a lesson. It goes through what the chapter's talking about, in each one. So you can it just takes you on a journey through and breaks everything down to a really understandable level. This one, it's fabulous. This one, I would, if you can only afford to get one book that's going to really take you through your journey and really help you progress on your path, then I definitely think investing in a book like this is really worth the while, because although it might be a little bit more expensive depending where you get it from than the other ones, this is going to, if you were only able to get one book, this is going to do you a lot more than just any of the other ones, I would say. So this one's a really great one. This is one that I use a heck of a lot when I first started on this path, especially just it's got everything in. It's got your information on your Sabbats and everything. It's just amazing. So yeah. And this one, it even talks, like, in this one, it talks about Theban script as well, and your magical alphabets, which I'd never come across that in any of the other ones that I'd read. So it wasn't until I read this one that I actually even knew that existed, which is quite crazy. But I did start working with Theban script, but I can't really remember it now. I know I did write something in Theban script, but I can't remember what it was. It was in my old book of shadows, and I still don't know where I put that. I don't know. I'm really bad. I put things away and then I forget where I put them, because I'm naturally a very messy person, which you might know already. But yeah, so when I actually have to put something away, because it's not naturally where I just put it, I forget where I actually put it. But it is away somewhere, but I don't know where I would have put it. Just can't think. I'll find it one day. But yeah, this one is really good. I mean, it even talks about different ways of working magic. It talks about puppets and things like that. So it's a lot more in-depth and breaks things down with it. So, like, how to work with not magic and things, it explains loads, so you understand all the different types of magic and things like that, and it's just a really good starting point, really, just to know what you're getting into, really. So definitely would recommend this. And it's also got a guide to do a year and a day study after this as well, so once you've kind of gone through this, you can then go and do a year and a day of study, which is good. And then the last book I would say that I would recommend is this one, which is The Book of Shadows for the Solitary Witch by Silver Ravenwolf. I really like this one. I haven't read any other ones by her yet. I do have To Ride a Silver Broomstick, but I've never actually read it. I keep forgetting that I have it. But I do turn to this book a lot. If I'm ever trying to find something or look something up, this is usually a one that I will turn to, just because it's just got so much information in here. Like, it goes through everything. It's just brilliant. So again, if you are wanting a book that just really covers everything and you don't want to have to buy all these little beginner books, this is a really good one. The only thing I would say about buying something like this one, it might be a little bit too heavy for you to read if it's the first ever book that you pick on witchcraft. So like, this wasn't the first one I ever got, and I've not read it cover to cover at all because that would take me quite a while. Maybe one day I will end up reading the whole thing, not cover to cover, but one day I will have ended up reading every single thing in it. But until then, I just flick through it as a point of reference because it's a very big book. But I think a lot of people have this one, and quite a few people like it, but then some people don't like her. But I'm one of the people who do like her because I think what she writes about and what she has in her books is really useful, because like I say, I do tend to it quite a lot. So I will recommend this one as well. Other ways of finding out information on witchcraft, it might not be through books. You might not be able to get access to books. Like, you might not be able to find any books, bookshops around you that sell these types of books. I know, like, I found a few in like Waterstones and things, and WH Smiths, but it depends what area you live in and how big those stores are and how big that section is. Like, if you're trying to discover things about witchcraft and your parents maybe wouldn't approve, or they might think you're a bit weird, like mine were like that, a little bit. They're more accepting now because I've just kind of been like, well, this is me, and just get over it, really. But when I was younger, I didn't feel like that. I was very much like, well, I really want to learn about this, but I don't know how to get this, because I didn't have an Amazon account when I was younger, because I didn't have a bank account to sign up to Amazon. So if I wanted anything, I had to go through my mum's Amazon account, which then obviously if I was buying witchcraft books off Amazon through my mum's account, she'd be like, what on earth have you been buying? Like, why have you wanted this stuff? So I didn't want to do that, so I was very limited to what books I could find, which is why a lot of books I got from the works, because I could get them and like my mum didn't really have to know about them, because I bought them myself. So that was how I found a lot of my books and things. So how I found out about witchcraft and spirituality and things was through magazines, which are a little bit more accessible. So I'm really sorry, my throat is awful in this video, really sorry. But the first one that I ever read was Soul and Spirit, and I learnt about this magazine through one of my friends who I went to college with. I saw her reading this on the bus that we were on, and I was really interested by it, and then I found it in like a newsagent somewhere, I don't know which one, and I bought it. I didn't buy the same issue that she had, but I bought the same magazine, and I instantly fell in love with it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, and I've gotten it. I think I've got it ever since, really. So I've got a massive storage box full of this magazine under my bed, and I'm really running out of space to store it by now because I've got other magazines in there as well. But it's a really great resource, and it's a little bit more easier to get your hands on. It doesn't cover witchcraft entirely, like it's not just a pure witchcraft magazine, it is a spiritual magazine, but they do have a section on witchcraft here. In this one, I don't know where it is though. Sorry, I should have found it earlier. But it does discuss, oh there it is, it does discuss an awful lot about about sort of spiritual living and spirituality. So if you're interested in the spiritual side of things as well as the Wicca and Witchcraft side of things, which it does really tie in, then you might be interested in this magazine, and it might be worth picking up an issue. Sorry, I'm showing you the wrong page. This is the column that's in this one. This is a fairly new-ish column. I think it's only been in here probably this year. But this is the White Witch column, and she basically has a column in each month's issue and talks about different witchcraft-related information. I think she's got a spell. She sometimes has a spell, I think, and then this one's creating your own deck or something, this one. I've not actually read this issue properly yet, so that's why I don't really know what this is talking about. But I don't always read this person's column as often. It's more so in this magazine that I read. This one seems to talk about witchcraft a lot more, and it has more articles to do with witchcraft. It just seems to be more more open to using the word witch, this one. I'm really sorry about my voice in this video. But this one has a column called Neighbourhood Witch, and this one's been in here for quite a while, this one. And this one's Anne-Marie Gallagher, and she does have a few books on witchcraft out, I think. I do have one of them, but I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure where that one is. But basically she has like a little story that she talks about, usually to do with witchcraft in there. And then on the next page she talks about seasonal spell casting. So she has a spell that you can do that's tied to the season. So this one's to do with a fair weather spell to basically have better weather for the summer. And then she's also got like a little almanac in the bottom there with dates to do with this month at the moment. So this one's all about July. There is a new issue out of this one. You won't be able to get this one now because there's a new issue out, unless you can get one offline somewhere as a back issue, but I haven't got the new one yet because I'm really unorganised and I never get to go to a supermarket to get one. And then she's also got the different moons and when the different moons are. And then there's this one which is Circle Magic. This one's a bit newer, but the idea was in the other ones. It was just by another witch, but I can't remember what her name was. But she's not in here anymore. I'm not sure why, but it's basically a spell that everyone can perform on the same day at the same time to do the same thing, and it's all about sort of sending out a lot of extra power and things like that into the universe, really. But this one's a really nice one to look through for spiritual living and things like that. It talks about fairies in this one. It discusses all sorts of different things. So this one's definitely worth having a look into, this issue, this magazine, sorry. There is also this one. There is a new issue of this one as well. This one's not necessarily related to witchcraft, but if you're interested in fairies and fae, this one's a really good one. It comes out 4 times a year as well, so it's not like a massive subscription to deal with. It's $4.99 an issue, and like I say, it comes out 4 times a year. And this one's just all about the fae, really, and things like that. So you can get back issues of this as well on the website. I've ordered a few back issues. There's a person, what's she called? Atlantis Fae? Is she called Atlantis Fae? I think she's called Atlantis Fae. I'm pretty sure she is. I just have a mental block of her there. But anyway, she's really awesome. She does videos on YouTube and makeup videos and things, but they're all very fairy, fae inspired, and she's just really cool and I really like her, and that is what made me get this magazine originally, and I've just fallen in love with it ever since, because it just is into the fae and everything like that. So I'd recommend this one if you are interested in the fae. But that is pretty much it in terms of books, apart from these that are just the last things that I want to talk about. These are what I've used for several years now since I first started on the path, is using the Witch's Datebook and the Witch's Spell a Day Almanac by Llewellyn. So I use this like as my general diary and everything like that, and what I like about this one is that it talks about the different Sabbats and things. It's got your moon phases and things like that in. It's not as handy if you're in the UK because times and dates don't always correspond and like the holidays and things, but if you're in America then it's probably going to be a lot more useful to you in that sense. But I just really like the little articles that are in it, and it's really interesting, so I like this one. And there is other ones that you can get similar to this, but I've not got any of those before. I can't remember what the other one's called. I think it's still by Llewellyn. I know Llewellyn do quite a few different ones of these, so if you're interested in something like this, have a look on the website, because they have different ones. And then there's also this one, which is a spell a day, this one. So basically each day you've got a spell, and it's to do with like different correspondences of the day, and different spells that you can do for each day of the year, which is quite handy. I've got 3 of these, I think I've got, this is my 3rd one. I don't get one every year because sometimes I don't get a massive use out of them that year, but you can always come back and do the spells again at some point, or rituals and stuff. There's lots of different things in here, but it's just really interesting, especially if you're interested in spells and spell work. It's really nice, simple, easy spells to do. So that is the end of the video. So hopefully you've found it very useful, and these books are something of interest to you. Let me know if any of you have read any of these before, or if you've got any other books that you would recommend in the comments for beginners, but these are what I would recommend for beginners. So yeah, feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below, just generally talking to me if you want to say anything. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you'd like, give this video a thumbs up as well. That would be really cool. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Bye!